You're watching All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet.
Hello and welcome to All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet. As always, it's me and Wayne Bridge. And every week we have a star-studded guest, and we have got that today. Aston Villa legend, Premier League all-time top goal scorer for the club as well. Known for his electric pace when he was playing, and now known for causing friction on the airways, let's say it that way. It's a pleasure to have him on the show. Gabby Agbonlahor, welcome.
Good morning, lads. How are we?
Gabs,
Great to see you, geez.
good to see you, isn't it?
It is, it is.
You was on the radio this morning?
Yeah, this morning. Yeah, being nice this morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
being very nice. Yeah, about Chelsea. Great result for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. First of all, I just want to say, listen, today the weather's been absolutely horrendous. So great commitment for our guest and obviously Bridgie getting in,
I was
and
late,
also
yeah,
all
sorry.
the production and people behind the cameras, because it's been not great weather. So they put it all together. So well done everyone for getting in. I just want to mention that to you guys. Look, let's get straight into it. Liverpool, Man U, 7-0. We had the segment last week with Liverpool, Man U, the
Miles off it,
predictions,
wasn't
wasn't it? Even writing.
What do you say? 7-0, Man United.
2-1 or something, I think.
Man United heavily
Did he?
backed
Yeah, I was gone.
last week.
Man U, yeah.
Look, 7-0. Wow, didn't see this coming. Gabs, what happened?
Strange, wasn't it? Watching the first half, there wasn't much in it.
They scored at the right time, didn't they?
Yeah, they scored at the right time, Liverpool. In the second half, you'd expected that of Manchester United maybe 3-4 years ago. Not this new Manchester United under Ten Hag. I was in shock watching the game. The goals going in so easily. And the biggest shock for me was how Dalot and Shaw didn't pull the wingers in and say, like, you played left back, Bridgie, you would have said to Sean, playing on the left with you, come give us a hand. Come in here. I'm getting absolutely terrorised by Salah here. Come and help me. You know, Fernandez tuck in, leave Trent. Do you know what I mean? And keep the score down, because a rival game, you can't lose 7-0.
No.
I just can't. I just don't understand how you can lose 7-0 in a big
They
game
just
like that.
folded, didn't they?
Yeah.
It just deflated so easily.
There was a lot of stuff that's been brought up after the game. The touching the sign, the Anfield sign before. Was it Weghorst? Was it that's touched it? I mean, listen, I've been to Anfield
Yeah.
but we've
I
all
think
done
it's,
it.
yeah.
But because
it's just
it's
the
Man U-
rivalry, innit? It's like, you know, like Birmingham fans had it.
Yeah.
And you're a Villa player, you walk out and go, yeah, I'm going to touch that. You probably spit on it.
Yeah, but you know what though? But I would do it as like banter of like, oh, you touch this whenever you go out, I'm going to touch it, so just as a wind up.
Yeah.
And he's come out and said that. There's a bit of banter between him and Van Dijk, Dutch teammate. It's not the end of the world, is it? I think it looks worse because they lost 7-0.
Yeah.
If they lost 1 or 2-0,
it was give him bad luck.
but
Yeah.
I feel like Weghorst, it's nothing can go right for him at the moment, can it?
No, don't. Yeah, he's struggling a little bit, isn't he? Another, I mean, it wasn't blown out of proportion, but I when I see it, I literally couldn't believe it was when Bruno Fernandes literally just stopped in his tracks.
On Liverpool's right-hand side and he just stopped.
You can't do that. It doesn't matter what the score is. No. You've got there's running back and then giving up a little, a few steps down the line. But he literally just threw the towel in front of the cop. It was horrific, wasn't it?
I think for me, when I looked at that, it was like, you don't expect that of one, your captain. You probably expect that of someone who doesn't want to be at the club. Yeah. Not a captain who's meant to be leading the team. He's got to stand up there and say, you know what, I'm going to work the hardest. We're getting embarrassed. But the way he gave up was like he was injured. It's like he pulled up with a hammy and just stopped. It just shows that there's still problems at Manchester United. And I'm sure Ten Hag will sit down with him and just show him all the clips and say, what's this about? What's this about? Look at what the media are saying. Next game, Real Betis, on Thursday. Go and put it right. Go and show that you can be a captain, that you won't do that again. And I think it'll be very embarrassed, Fernandes, when you look back at it.
Yeah, they've been in good form, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. It's one of them, I think you just got to write that one off now. It's just like, I think they've got criticised a lot, and it's definitely going to hurt, but you can't just judge them on one game.
No.
But for me, it was just his attitude. I hate seeing people throwing their hands in the air.
Yes.
I get it at the ref, but your teammates, I'm like, that's really disrespectful. I mean, you got to G them up, you got to get them going. but not throwing your hands up in the air at them and things like that, and stop running. You've got to lead by example.
The biggest thing, isn't it, as a football player? Someone throws your hands up, it's like they're making you look bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I remember doing it once to Jack Grealish. It was like his breakthrough year.
You did it,
and he had to go at me.
A lot of people, I reckon.
Yeah, well,
Jack had
he had to go at me, and I was like, yeah, you know what, he's right. And he was only a young lad, because I was frustrated that he never passed.
Right.
And sometimes you forget, don't you? You throw your arms up, and then when you look back at it, you're like, no, it doesn't look good.
But there's doing it and meaning to do it for the right reasons, and he's doing it. I think some do it for show.
Yes,
for the crowd.
Yeah.
So there's two ways.
They can't stop giving the ball away, but they're throwing their arms up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Look, just quickly on Liverpool, top 4. Do you reckon they can do it? Do you reckon they can get a run together to?
I do. Yes, I feel that the players coming back. Diaz is coming back. Jota is back on the bench as well. I think that squad of players have got more than enough. And Spurs, you know what they're like when the pressure comes. I feel like they will crumble, and I feel that Newcastle will get top 6, but not top 4 at the moment. And I think Liverpool know if they want to sign a player like Bellingham, the least they've got to have is Champions League football. Yeah. I don't think he goes to Europa League side.
Look, talking of 7 zips, Gabby, we've been done 7-1, Villa.
Yes.
At Stamford Bridge against Chelsea.
You have to look at the defence. We've done our job. Clean sheet wins us
at the front, mate.
Clean sheet wins us the game.
You didn't even score. John Carew scored.
I done the pre-assist.
You got
dragged.
You got dragged.
Clean sheet wins us the game. So they need the midfielders and defenders to do better.
You got dragged after 70 for not tracking back.
Yeah, Martin said, "Come sit with me. You'll do it today."
But he's still got 2 days off. He loved the day off, didn't he? He loved the day off.
I think I was still in the West End in London after the game.
Bridgie, have you had any big ones?
I've had a few 7s. Tottenham's definitely one of them, 7-2.
When you was at Southampton?
Yeah, Southampton, yeah. Other than that, I don't remember any bigger ones, no. It's horrible, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. There's
it
no
is. You can understand how the players are deflated. It's just horrible. You're just, can this just be over?
We got done. My biggest one was, we done obviously 7-1 at Chelsea, which you can half take because it's the Bridge is against Chelsea, that was a great Chelsea team. But we got done at Fulham away. When the year we got relegated, away at Hull, 7-0.
Hull as well.
7-0. 0-0 at half time it was.
That whole team weren't great, was it?
No, it was bad. It was 0-0 at half time, and it was the one where Tom Huddleston drew his hair out until he scored, and he scored the 5th or 6th goal. And then I'm walking back to kick off, looking over, and he's like, the physio's cutting his hair, and I was laughing and joking. It's
that's horrible, isn't it?
No, as well, Sidney, I feel like for remembering that game, the clock seemed to not move as well. Looking at it, it's like 55. You look back, conceded 2, it's 57. Yeah. And you're like, come on, get to 90, let's get out of here. Keep it under 10, and they'll just get out the door.
Keep it under 10, it's bad when you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? You just can't get near anyone. They're just, everything's going for them. And I feel like that was like a bit in the Man United Liverpool game. It was a bit, even the Salah goal where he turns and he smashes it in, it was a deflection off McTominay.
Yeah.
Things were going for Liverpool, wasn't they? But
it was going for him, but obviously United just folded, didn't they, as well?
Yeah.
But I think as well, the big thing for me is that, we've had these losses, but none were in a big rivalry game. No. That's unacceptable. Yeah. The rivalry between Manchester United and Liverpool, there should never be a 7-0 scoreline.
No, of course not. No. Well, look, talking of big games, Champions League last night, Chelsea, they were up against it, wasn't it? A great performance. Dortmund in good form, no losses in 10. I think a lot of people were nervous. A lot of Chelsea fans were nervous before the game, but Chelsea, top draw. Bridgie, really good.
It's out of nowhere, isn't it? Really, it's like I don't think you get too excited about it. But
really?
they did because it's one game. Well. It's a bit like I was saying about United. They've lost one, so like they've got the stick. But I think they did play well. It's the best they played. A couple of them. Havertz definitely played better. Yeah. I think it's been really poor. They've played well. So hopefully that confidence will take them on to the next game. Yeah. But it's for me, it just come out of nowhere. I'm just like, because they haven't been playing well at all. No. So it's definitely a massive step in the right direction. Yeah. But they've got to take it on to the next game.
Yeah, they have to. Champions League, look, Napoli are favourites. Napoli are more favoured than PSG. Man City 2-1. Bayern 7-2. Real 6-1. Napoli 13-2. PSG 18-1. Chelsea 20-1. You can see why Chelsea are down there. Who do you think?
Real Madrid ain't bad at 6-1.
I know, it's good value.
They
isn't
always
it?
turn up for the Champions
they won
League.
last season
Yeah,
as well.
mate, honestly. They seem to come alive a bit in the Champions League.
Yeah, turn it on, don't they?
Yeah.
Who do you fancy out of them? I mean, they're the clear favourites there.
I've
City,
got a back.
do you think City can do it this year?
I don't think so, mate. I think Real Madrid. I just don't understand
Again?
why. Yeah, every year, everyone underestimates them. They've done it last year, and everyone will say, "Oh, it was a last-minute goal. It was this against City, or it was this against." They are the complete side. You watch them against Liverpool in that first leg, like Vinicius, Benzema, Valverde in midfield, defensively, Rudiger back in there. I mean, Rudiger in there now. For me, they're the complete side. I don't see a team that can.
You're back in.
I'll back Real Madrid 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that.
PSG go out tonight as well to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, they're just a bunch of individuals, isn't they? Really? They're not a team, are they? PSG, they're not a team. They're not a team. They people back them. I'm not having them at all. Look, talking of Chelsea and Champions League, Bridgie, 2004.
Yes.
We've got to go back. I didn't realise that goal you scored that knocked Chelsea out of the. They knocked Arsenal out of the Champions League. That was the Invincibles year for Arsenal.
Yeah. I remember. I remember all the talk about it, and Chelsea hadn't beaten for ages.
So you was the catalyst, really, of the start.
I was turning point, wasn't I? I signed that year and just turned it for everyone.
I remember watching it at home. Tell me, because the scenes behind. I mean, Highbury. For people that are listening and watching, Highbury was special, wasn't it?
It
was a special
Fans
ground.
were close to the pitch.
The pitch was lovely, but that game in particular, that was when the rivalry was just starting to heat up with Chelsea Arsenal.
Yes, when I turned up, it was like we played them a couple of times, and it was the rivalry was huge.
Yeah,
and obviously they were the team to beat. We hadn't beat them for ages. I do remember the fans keep bringing it up. It was like the turning point.
Yeah,
it all changed after that. Yeah, I just remember getting the ball. I think it was Jesper cut across the pitch.
Great goal, isn't it?
Yeah, what little 1-2. I think I'd have slipped it through someone's leg. And I don't remember much, just little side foot into the bottom corner, and I don't score many. I just couldn't believe it, to be honest. I was just in the crowd.
Unbelievable.
And I didn't actually realise they needed 2 goals. Yeah. Because I kept getting the ball and smashing it, and Lamps going, calm down. I was like, they need 2. I was like, I didn't know. And then the change room was just rocking.
What was it like after?
Oh, it was just everyone jumping up and down, singing. Roman come in, and everyone just started going mental when he came in. I think someone shouted out double bonus. I think
double bubble.
Double bonus. So they weren't small back then either when he turned up. And then it was just probably one of the best nights of my life, definitely.
Was the boys going out after? Was it one of the midweek, or do you have a game?
It's a night out. Yeah, nearly got myself in trouble again. I basically went from hero to zero. Yeah, it's a little bit of a longer story, that one, but I made it to training just in time. I basically got lost. Yeah.
Was all the boys out, or was
all
the
boys are out? And basically, I kind of got forgotten about and lost. And then I had to phone one of them in the morning, come and pick me up from central London. Yeah, I got the training in time though.
But you made it. No 2 weeks wages.
It's one of them. I remember just getting out, just as we're all celebrating, and everyone in that bar must have been Chelsea. Just kept giving me drinks.
Brilliant.
And then that's what.
And that was your first season at Chelsea as well.
First season, yeah.
What a dream.
Yeah, no, it was wicked. Really good night. And then we threw it away in the semis.
Yeah. Who was that against? That was Monaco.
Yeah. It was the first leg. I can't remember what Ranieri did. He sounded like he messed around with the team a bit.
Yeah.
And he had Hoof on it. I can't remember if Hoof went centre back or right back. So just the team changed completely, and we just threw it away. And then I think at the home game we got back into it. Got 2 early goals, 2 good goals, and then we threw it away. Sloppy goal.
Damage was done.
Yeah.
Right, let's play our new Virgin Bet Builder game. Each week, our friends at Virgin Bet have picked out a match for you guys to do 5 predictions. Match result, correct score, and first goal scorer. There'll be 2 mystery markets after that for your choosing. Each correct prediction will win a point. The harder the prediction, the more the points. As a reminder, Bridgie, if you beat the guests over the series, I'll buy you dinner. If the guests beat Bridgie over the course of the series, you're buying me Zuma. Okay. Let's just touch on last week. Last week was a sticky one. The boys went big for United, and it went the other way. But Bridgie, you did pick up a point for guessing Fabinho would be carded.
Got away with that because I wanted Casemiro, right? He went for it, so I just went for Fabinho.
So in total, you've got 4 points at the moment to 0. So yeah, Fabinho for the Cardiff first. This week we've got Crystal Palace versus Manchester City. I want 3 predictions for their bet builder. All right. So Bridgie, you're going to go first. So Palace versus Man City. Who's going to win?
City. Easy.
City. Yep. Yeah. First goal scorer.
I'll go for fancy Mahrez to get a run out.
Oh,
go Mahrez.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Chopper.
Yep, he has got a lovely chopper.
Oh, mate, he chopped the life out of me when I went to Reading. My last season. Yeah. I've been at Brighton. I went to Leicester. Mate, I didn't know of him.
That makes it worse, doesn't it?
When I didn't know him and I was playing, mate, I thought, yeah, I'm done. Yeah, this is definitely me. I'm done.
What did you?
Mate, I was like, I knew like I got a bit older and I couldn't turn as quick, but mate, I didn't see it coming. It's the way he does it. You just don't.
Oh,
it doesn't even look that quick when you watch it, but he just chops the life out of you. It's just like he's gone, and it was lovely. Like I was so happy to see him go on and do what he's doing because he made me look so bad.
He was a one-hit wonder. Okay, so you've got City. Mahrez to score first. What's the score going to be?
I'll go 3-0.
3-0. Okay. Gabby?
Man City win.
Man City
I'm
win.
going to go Kevin De Bruyne. Got brought off last game, wasn't happy. I feel like he'll want to prove Pep wrong.
Yeah.
So I fancy Kevin De Bruyne to score first.
Yep.
And
score.
I think 2-0. I feel like Palace aren't safe yet. They'll put up a decent fight.
All right, okay. So heavy on the City. Throwing a few curveballs in now. Traditionally, it's a spicy game. So the mystery markets this week is first player to be carded.
Got to be a fullback. Klein.
Klein
to be carded, yeah.
Okay.
He don't mind a yellow card. He's definitely had a few.
I'm going to go Anderson.
And the centre half.
Palace. Anderson.
Yep.
Very aggressive.
Okay, 2 defenders. And then the other one is number of corners. Now, is it going to be over, under, or exactly 8? So under 8, over 8, or exactly 8?
I'm going to go over. Yeah, I feel like that sort of pitch, Selhurst Park, I feel like there'll be a lot of corners. Small type pitch.
Both over 8?
Yeah, I'm going to go over 8.
Bridgie? Can do.
They do. They get a lot of corners. Whenever City seem to play like a lesser team, they seem to get a lot of corners. I'm going over.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going over.
All right, okay. Well, look, that's our predictions. If you want to build your bet, just download the Virgin Bet app and head over to Bet Builder. Please visit Virgin Bet for full terms and conditions. You have to be over 18 to play. And please gamble responsibly. Right, let's look forward to the weekend. Palace, Man City in general. Man City, they've got to be, like, after last week, you look at Arsenal scoring that last minute. Bridgie, you've been in scenarios where chasing for titles, you're either chasing or you're just below them. You think you've got the upper hand, and all of a sudden, Arsenal come back, last minute winner.
Oh, man, I was devastated. I was devastated. I'm in the last man standing group.
Oh, nice.
And there's about 200 odd people in it. Honestly, about the 93rd minute, I'm counting how many people have gone Arsenal. 104.
Oh.
I'm cheering, like 104 people are out. Never won it before, and then it's devastated.
Yeah, it's
absolutely gutted.
But is that the moments that when that happens, you look at it and go, it's written in the stars, they're going to do it?
I do, but I said it'd be a game they might slip up at. I know, like, because Bournemouth are fighting.
Yeah.
They are fighting.
Yeah.
And they maybe aren't on their game as much.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're games you can slip up at.
Yeah.
But I get what you mean, that mentality of they're going to come back and win and do it.
Yeah.
But I remember it being at Chelsea, you had that winning mentality, but I don't remember scoring goals that late all the time.
No.
You know what I mean? I think, you can't do that often.
Yeah. Well, they put it back on Man City now. Man City are away at Palace. Is this... Well, look, you've predicted a Man City win, but is it as easy as that, or...?
It'll be a tough game, and I think that's why, you can't even choose who's going to win the title at the moment, because there's so many tough games left. There's probably 8-9 teams fighting a relegation battle.
Yeah.
There's going to be upsets still to come, and I think Man City will have too much for Palace, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game, like a walk through the park. I think it'll be tough. Man City will get Man City will get the result, but I still think there's going to be tough games out there, CD. Like, no one wants to be playing Brighton at the moment. No one wants to be playing Brentford.
Yeah.
Fulham's a tough game. You've got the teams at the bottom fighting for their lives. Leeds don't want to leave the Premier League again. So there's going to be points dropped from Man City and Arsenal, I think, till the season.
I mean, I covered Palace last weekend and they were terrible. And they're in
Against
a
Villa.
real bad run of form. Are Palace in danger of getting dragged into relegation, and is Patrick Vieira in trouble?
I reckon they're sitting at a position that I put them at the moment in terms of in the league. What are they? They're just
12th.
Just out of the relegation, isn't they? They could get sucked in, but they're out of it.
They've not won a game since the 6th of November.
But they're the sort of team City that would like.
How can you go? They're doing all right, and then like real bad.
I think they're the sort of side that like the next couple of games they'll just get a win. Do you know what I mean? Zaha will drag them to a win and be like, all right, we're 6 points away from the relegation zone now.
Yeah.
You know, they're that sort of team, aren't they, Palace?
Yeah.
They'll probably finish with 38 points to stay up.
Yeah, the position they're sat, they could definitely get dragged into it. But I look at the other teams and I just think they've got a bit more than the others. I do.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on Zaha. He's back now. He's playing. He's fit. It looks as though he's going to run his contract out and leave end of the season. Do you think he'll stay in the Premier League? And if he does, is he good enough to go into that top 6 category, or do you think he'll go abroad?
I think I think it comes down to where you want to play. If you want to be here, and I think there could. You look at people who go abroad. Sometimes the money can be really
tempting,
good, so it can be really tempting. So I just think it depends what offers he has on the table.
I don't think he's good enough for the top 6 consistently, week in, week out. Me personally.
I think I agree with you. I feel that he's going to want to go. He's going to go on a free, isn't he? So he's going to want big money as well. You know, CD. I think he's done big money at Palace already. Yeah. He's going to want big money.
Yeah.
And will he start in the top 6 teams?
Yeah.
No. They're best teams about. I don't think he starts. So he might look at it and think, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to be guaranteed to play. Like you said,
it's not
abroad,
no disrespect to him,
Italian league.
He is good. He is
he's very good. Yeah. The Italian league, the Spanish
level.
league. You might want to go to one of them teams that are in the Champions League.
Yeah.
So he's playing Champions League football. I don't think the sort of guy that's bothered about going abroad.
No.
But I just don't see a top 6 team signing him.
No, I agree. Well, look, City are 1-3 on to win the game. Palace, they are a bit of a bogey team for City. They are 7-1 to beat City. Next one, Fulham Arsenal. Fulham, who would have thought they're good? So they've been superb this season. In with an outside chance of European football. I know it's an outside chance. How impressed have you been with Fulham? Bridgie, you had a spell with Fulham, didn't you?
Yeah, I love Fulham as a club. I think it's a great club, great family club, and I'm buzzing for them, to be honest. Same as Brighton. They're around each other.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's outside for them with the games in hand that the other teams have got.
Yeah.
But you'd rather have the points on the board sometimes. You know what I mean? Because the way the league is, it's not easy. No. I've been really impressed with them, especially at home. Been really good at home. That's sort of Arsenal. It's going to be tough for Arsenal again this week.
Yes.
Like, that's a slip
not
up.
an easy game, man.
No, I'm saying I think last week this could be a slip up as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Gabby, you'd have watched a lot of football. Mitrovic has been outstanding, 11 goals. Paulinho in midfield, though, he's served a 2-game ban. He has been instrumental. He's been so good.
Is he not available for the Arsenal game as well?
He's got 2 yellow.
So I think he might miss that game as well.
10
That's a
yellow
big
cards,
plus.
so he's serving a 2-game ban, so he's not going to be there.
That's a big plus for Arsenal because he's been outstanding. You know, the way he breaks up play, he's got that slide tackle as well, hasn't he? And he can play as well. Mitrovic has been outstanding. They've got some good wingers as well, Fulham.
Yeah.
And I think Craven Cottage was always a tough place to go, mate.
It feels
it was
small,
a tight pitch. I remember my game being I love big pitches because of the pace. You know, run the channels and running behind. I remember playing at Fulham and thinking there's no space in behind. What am I going to do? I've got to come to feet.
Your super strength's gone.
Yeah, my strength's gone. I can't play now. So I used to look at Craven Cottage and think it's going to be a grind today.
Yeah.
They're going to be physical. The fans are close to the pitch, small pitch. It's a tough place to go, and a lot of teams have found that out this season. Chelsea lost there earlier on in the season. I'm with Bridgie. This could be a game where Arsenal draw. I really do. I really do, mate. I feel like Fulham have got nothing to lose. When you're playing and you know you've got enough points, more or less, to stay up, you can play freely. It's a free game. You can play freely. You get your best football.
Well, they can definitely take some confidence from the Bournemouth game last week in terms of watching that video and seeing how Bournemouth got their goals. Fulham are 17-4 to win. Arsenal are 3-5. Moving on to your former club, West Ham versus Villa. West Ham, they're having a poor run of form. Villa, 2 wins on the bounce. where do you see this one going?
I think it's another game where West Ham, you don't want to be playing Villa at the moment. I feel like new managers come in, new ideas, players are all on side. Watkins is in frightening form.
Yeah.
Villa's for goal against Crystal Palace. If you look at how it was scored from the back, the Villa fans like to moan at the slow play from the back. But if you look at the goal, it was unbelievable football, ended up being an own goal. And I just think Villa are that team, City, that on the day when everything clicked for them, it's a nightmare team you want to play when you're in a relegation battle.
Yeah.
So the pressure's off Villa as well. I think they're joint with Chelsea, I think, on the same point as Chelsea. Yeah. They'll be safe this season. And the pressure's on West Ham. You know, losing 4 to Brighton, then West Ham fans not going to be happy.
What has gone on at West Ham, Bridgie? I mean, David Moyes, so in the last 2 years, they've been...
No one can seem to put their finger on it, and they can't either.
I'm going to just throw one out there. The last 2 or 3 years, West Ham have been very, very good. Have they overachieved for what they've done? And realistically, they are just...
I reckon most people would say they have.
But when they're doing it, you're thinking, here we go.
Yeah.
Like they're getting a bit of momentum, they're stepping up, and all of a sudden they've just gone off the...
Do you think that like teams have maybe worked them out a bit of like, you know, Souček's going to make late runs into the box. You know, maybe the midfield's going to be a bit light when Souček makes his run forward. Cresswell's not starting as much now.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the team's changing a bit.
Yeah.
There's a couple of games that I've seen from them where I'm like, they do not close down that well as a team together. They are literally all over the place. You're like, I think I watched the game they played against Palace. It was a really poor game. I went to that game.
Yeah.
And it was like the way they closed down was so poor. It was terrible. It was like everyone was individually running after the ball. It was just, and it was against Palace as well.
Yeah.
I know Palace were maybe doing all right at the time, but they looked so bad.
Yeah.
There's other times I've seen them like they need to work on it.
Yeah.
Need to work on defensively as a team.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a relegation
dangerous,
scrap.
Mate. It's dangerous down there, mate. When you're not used to it as well, CD, the teams
there's a lot of poor teams there.
Who's your free? At the moment, who's your free to go down?
Southampton, Bournemouth for me. I'd think they're the 2 worst teams in the league for me.
Sorry?
Southampton. Sorry, Bridget. Southampton and Bournemouth. And then the next one, mate, I can't decide. Leeds, Everton, Leicester, Forest. Forest a pull away from
Palace. We're talking about Palace possibly getting dragged in.
I don't think they get dragged in. I think it's going to be Saints and Bournemouth, definitely. I don't like saying Saints. And I think Leeds. I just think Dyche is just going to... I think Everton look like...
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but they look more organised. I know because Lampsey being
and that's
there,
what you need when you're down the bottom.
They look more organised. So I think they get out of it. I think they've got enough to get out.
And West Ham wouldn't surprise you if they put in a performance like against Manchester United in the FA Cup and win a couple back-to-back.
Yeah. Even
though I said Villa, I fancy them. Wouldn't surprise me West Ham got a result. Pressure's off.
If they go down, wow.
I think it's going to be Leeds. I think Leeds.
Well, this one is tight. West Ham, Villa 23-20. West Ham and Villa 23-10. So very, very, very tight. Right, next up, what really happened? Gabby, we want to go back to a moment in your career.
Yeah.
And when we want to divulge a little bit more in that.
Which one?
I want to go
on
back,
the pitch.
We want to go back to 2014.
Okay.
And we want to dive into the trade. I believe it was a training ground disagreement with Roy Keane.
Okay. Yeah.
So apparently you're the reason why he left Aston Villa. Is that true? Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah. But you know what? Roy Keane, when he first come in, like to Villa as part of the coaching staff, everyone was buzzing. You know,
this was under Paul Lambert, yeah?
Yeah, Paul Lambert. Everyone was buzzing. You know, got Roy Keane coming in, legend of the game, top player. But then people have heard the stories of like his coaching.
So when he first come in,
obviously
you've played against him before, but in terms of a professional level, with him being a coach and approachable, how was that in terms of like across the board?
At the start, he was quite good. I remember him having some banter with me on the training pitch and saying like, "Oh, I'll have a little bet with you if you score more goals than my son." You know what I mean, a bit of fun. But his standards were that high. I feel that the first day we'd done the rondos, and it was like, "This as good as it gets." It was like,
wow. You can imagine it. You can imagine it,
and we're like, you know, maybe we're not getting like to 10 that often, you know, because everyone's trying for the megs or and we thought like, we're not the Man United side you played with. We're Aston Villa. Do you know what I mean? We've had no budget. Paul Lambert no budget to spend. He's getting players. Some of them players from League One, League Two, bringing in. the second division in France and Spain and bringing in. Do you know what I mean? The team wasn't like great, but I just remember him being a bit too harsh, mate. I remember a game against QPR away. I remember it being a Sky game, I think, and they couldn't get hold of Paul Lambert for a while because we were in the change room. And he come in and he looked at Joe Cole. He's got used to a good friend to Coley. He's gone, and you hammered Coley. Coley had been ill with the flu.
Right.
And he didn't have his best of games, but he was like ill, and you see sweat coming out of him. And Coley just sat there like just taking it. And I'm thinking like, you're talking to like a Premier League legend. I know you are, but Coley's a legend of the game. Yeah. One of the biggest trophies in Chelsea. I'm thinking like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And Coley's not really the sort of guy, is he, that's going to be like biting back at Roy Keane.
Yeah.
And then I just remember training. He used to really hate pop it to the coach on the edge of the box, shooting.
Yeah.
And you got to like whip it in. If you didn't hit the target, honestly, mate, it was like you'd like done something really bad. It was like, hit the target. It's not hard. What's the problem?
High standards.
High standards, which I understand that, fair enough.
Yeah.
But some of these players, from that high standard, we had some League Two players in the side. You know what I mean?
Hit the target.
1 out of 2. If you go for that top corner, Bridgie, you know what I mean? You go for that stance, you might miss the target. Safety, yeah. You end up kicking it straight at the keeper. So it was on target. But like, then he was just like, he kept on going on a bit, really. And I had to go to the manager and say, like, Gaffer, come on, like.
Is it just constant all the
Yeah,
time?
and I thought, Gaffer, come on, like, we need these players to, like, sometimes be encouraged. This is a different era of players. Yeah. It's not 20 years ago. Do you know, Roy's too negative after games. I remember the next day, Roy pulling me into his office. He's like, "Are you going behind me to the manager, are you?" Oh, yeah. No. Meeting him in the office. And I'm
What'd
like,
you do?
He's like, "Yeah, I've heard you were a bad egg from other managers, blah, blah, blah," talking nonsense. And I was just like, "Roy, we're not going to get anywhere here, are we? Like, what's the point of us both being in here?" So I just got up and walked out. Really? And then the next day, I think it was the next week, we'd done this shooting drill. You know them horrible shooting drills, mate, where you got to pass it to 10 players, get it wide, get in the box. Yeah. So you're having like one shot every 10 minutes. Yeah,
they're like ridiculous. Running through,
and the standard was awful, mate. It was like everyone's missing a target, poor standard. And then the gaffer got us in, and then, come on, guys, this is really poor. And because I was captain, I was like, hey, gaffer, to be honest, we're getting one shot every 10 minutes. Everyone's getting cold. Do you know, like you're into having quick shots, aren't you, and stuff. Yeah. Roy was like, "Oh, do you want another warm up? Are you cold? All of you, do you want another warm up?" And I've gone, "Oh, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the manager." So I've just brushed him off like that.
In front of everyone?
Yeah, in front of everyone. Right. He gave me that stare.
Yeah.
And the next day he left. The next day he left. So I think he left because he probably felt that he was going to probably do something that he'd regret. Right. To one of the players, probably me. Okay. But the next day he left, and we stayed up that season. But
did you feel as though it was on not just because you was captain, but because you was Villa, that's your team, you're embodied into it?
Yeah, you know what he's done, mate. I felt it was a bit. Yeah, and I felt like it was a bit of a bullying mentality. Like, I don't like bullies, and been there for so long at Villa, one of the captains in the team, I felt like everyone else was scared to speak up. Does that make sense? Yeah. Maybe Dalfy would have spoke up as well, but I just felt like these guys, they're not trying. They're trying their best. We're not an outstanding team. We've been in relegation battles for 3-4 years. We've been staying up just about. It was like, how about, do you know what I mean? Give them some info, not just hammering everyone about how bad you are. Players won't respond off that. That's why you see now Roy Keane wouldn't get a job, because players won't respond to that anymore. They need to be encouraged, or you can do better, do this. So you know what I mean? So for me at that time, it was more stick up for the players. Right. As like, there was a reason why the shooting was bad. Yeah. Because you're passing the ball to every part of the training ground before you get across, and you're getting one shot every 10 minutes. Yeah. So because of the way I spoke to him, he must have thought, you know what? Do I need this job, Aston Villa? You know, I'm going to do something maybe to Gabby or one of the other players that I'll be in trouble for. So I think it's more him taking himself away from the... Yeah. Do you know what I mean? From the club and leaving. And yeah, but at the start he was fine. But the thing with Joe Cole I didn't like. Yeah. And just the way he spoke to the team as well.
The glare. Have you had the glare against Roy when you was playing?
No, I don't know if I ever come across him really.
He gave
the only person I played against probably was a bit like Roy. He used to batter people was Craig Bellamy.
Oh, he was bad.
I used to love it.
He
used to make me laugh, and to be fair, I never got on the wrong
people off in games. He was a nightmare.
Yeah, but in training at City, the more you got to like spend time with him, he could ruin people. But also with him, he was like the coaching side of things, I know he's gone into it. He was really good with the young kids at City.
Yeah.
He could batter them, but he'd want to help them at the same time.
For the right reasons.
So he'd batter them, but he'd help them as well.
Yeah.
And he'd take him to side and say, and then he'd actually take some of the fullbacks to one side and help us say, you need to do more of this, you need to do more of that.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about him, but I don't know if Roy had any of that.
No,
But
I think
definitely
the problem with Roy, lads, was like, because his hand standards were so high.
Yeah.
They do say that some players that were so good probably don't go into coaching and management because the players can't get to their standards, get frustrated.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. We just wasn't a great team.
Yeah.
I'm being honest there. We scrambled through games, had some good results, some poor performances, but that sort of coaching, I'm sure Paul Lambert probably thought, is it the right reason to bring him in? These players aren't going to respond from that.
You would have come up. Would you come up against him?
Do you know what? I literally just missed him. So the year that Reading got promoted was the year that he went to Celtic, I think, from United. The year we got promoted with Reading was the year that he left United to go to Celtic. So I missed playing him, but I did get the glare from him once, and that was when I was at Arsenal as a youth team player. So we'd play in the morning at youth team, and then we have to go to Highbury to watch the games. Yeah. So it was Saturday 3:00. Arsenal United was when they was at their peak as well. At Highbury, in the tunnel, tight. So I used to go there. So people used to give me like an autograph book or a program. Say, can you get a few autographs of my son or my boy or blah blah. So I was going, no worries. So I used to go down to the tunnel before the players warming up, and I used to be down there. And I remember United come down, so Bex, blah blah blah, Van Nistelrooy. Then Roy come down. I was like, Roy, can I have an autograph? And I was only about 17. He looked at me, right? Bearing in mind, it's at Highbury, it's Arsenal United. He's looking out to the tunnel,
ready for the game,
ready for war. He's give me this look as if to say, "Are you joking?"
Yeah.
Like he looked at me and went, after the fucking game, like that. It's just and then looked back up at the turf, and I literally went like that. But I didn't even go back after the game. Didn't even attempt it. But that's glare,
the thing, isn't it? Like,
I've seen
he's
the
one
glare.
of the best ever, wasn't he, as a player? His mentality was amazing, but doesn't mean that. I think like Manchester United was struggling a couple of years ago. People were like on Sky, like, Roy, you should go in there. Yeah. Imagine, like the Pogba and these players, like it wouldn't work, would it, Sidney? This generation of players, they won't accept that sort of criticism.
I just want to touch really briefly on, you talk about what things work in terms of coaches and managers. Look, when we was at Villa, we obviously had Martin O'Neill. Yeah. And we finished sixth, didn't we? 3 years on the spin. Yeah. We should have got top 4.
100%. Bottled it.
Why did we not get top 4?
I think the big reason for me was it normally got to March, didn't it? Yeah. And we crumbled. I don't know if it's because Martin would play the same 11 all the way through.
Same subs.
Yeah, it was like he'd come in before the game and be like, same team, same subs.
Yeah, didn't read them. Doesn't say much,
didn't read them out. So I think it was
crazy.
For me. It was more players got tired come March because you played 90 minutes. It didn't even like bringing you off for 85, 86 minutes. It was like 90 all the way through, and then come March maybe a lack of experience of getting in the top 4. Maybe I'm not sure, but we did crumble, didn't we?
Yeah. Considering the squad, in terms of Milner's, Downing, Youngie, yourself, John Carew, Heskey, GB, Stan, Collins at the back, Dunny,
Youngie.
The squad was unreal. Good squad, right?
Yeah.
Really good squad. How was his coaching?
Oh, non-existent.
Yeah. You know what,
that's why I'm like, how did you done that well without really much coaching?
We have spoke about this as well, like some of the lads that were in that team is like, what could that squad of players achieved with maybe some of the coaches from that coaching now? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I had him at Sunderland for a bit. And I was just shocked.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you just
he's a throwback. He openly says, listen, you won't get another manager like me. If you do, if you work for me and you do your stuff, I'll give you your days off. But if you don't, then obviously I'm pulling you in. But you can't. It
was more like, wasn't it, Sidney? Like he knew that like Sidney, Stan, GB midfield, they know when one of them has to sit. They can sort it out themselves. When one has to go forward, Youngie will know when he needs to cut inside and come inside.
Yeah.
Gabby and John knows one of you have got to pick up a midfielder. Yeah. He sort of knew that the players were experienced enough to know it themselves, so probably didn't feel that we needed much coaching. Yeah. It was more like 5-a-side, wasn't it? And then like a bit of shape on the Friday. But because the players were so good, weren't they? It was like you know when you're playing the Chelsea, Man Utd away, you know you're going to drop back a bit, playing a counter attack. The lesser teams, you push forward more. So it was. It's hard to really say a bad word against Martin. It was different eras, wasn't it?
Of course it was.
Maybe now you'd probably have more better coaches next to him.
Yeah. It was a shame because you're right. We should have definitely got top 4. Right, look. Just before we go, obviously you two have been in the England setup together. Bridgie, last week we had Righty saying that he obviously cost you 2 weeks wages on a night out. You two shared a trip away with England on England duties. What was it like?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Wasn't it? I always had a laugh with Gabby. He makes me laugh all the time. He's a funny guy. And,
Gabby, your first trip, was it? With England?
I think it was, yeah. When I think back, I'm sure it was. And I remember it was the end of the season. Trinidad and Tobago, I'm like, here we go. First cap. I remember flying all the way there, and you were there for a few days, weren't we?
Yeah,
and then
good few days,
the game's going on, I'm like, I'm going to come on. God,
you got to come on.
I'm like, come on. He took me to Trinidad. He took me to Trinidad. I've not seen the sea. I've not seen the beach clubs or anything.
The worst thing about it is he's actually devastated. But he kept laughing about it, but he was actually devastated.
I was just bantering myself. Like, I think I was the only one that didn't get brought on. I was like, this is great. I could have been in Dubai with the family for like a week at the end of the season. I was in Trinidad. And he didn't bring me on. I remember after the game, we had this plane. The back of it had a table. It's like a 12-seater table. And I got sucked
into the card school, didn't he?
Remember GB saying to me, don't get involved. And I was like...
Gareth Barry, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, Gareth Barry, sorry.
And
I was like, I can take these big boys on.
You was on loads of money there.
Yeah. I've been ripping them down the channels for like 80 games. I could play these at cards. I remember leaving the plane, and I'm not going to say the figure, but I had a piece of paper of debt, and I was and bank details, and I was like, oh, that was a great trip. The season's finished. Could have been in Vegas with the lads. I've gone to Trinidad and Tobago, no cap, with like 4 or 5 bank details. I didn't know who to phone to even send the money. I was that young.
Because I know what it's like, but because it's him, you can't help but laugh because you can see he's devastated.
What was what was it? Cards? Was it game?
I don't know what game it was. It free card
In the
round?
end, people were just making games up and just making the amount of money we were playing for.
But I remember getting on there. When you get off the plane, you get on the little buses taking you to the terminal. I remember standing on there. I've gone GB. Gareth Barry is like, I told you, he's gonna have much. He's gone. And what's funny is that I was just on the bus thinking that's my summer spending money. That is. That's my holiday. Where am I going?
It was bad because it was like we all start off all right, don't we? You don't start off with too much. Like the bets are small. And if someone goes down a little bit, they get up and they start chasing and changing.
I think we were going over Paris, and I'm like, there's only an hour left. I can't even get it back. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't even win any of it back, but I learnt my lesson from that.
I think, you definitely, once you come into that school, you don't usually laugh long.
Away.
Everyone had their piece of paper. There you go. Off we go. Are you up? Are you down? Brilliant.
People stayed in the school a little bit longer because of Gabs, because they had enough money to pay.
Yeah, I was paying for their card school for a while, but it was good, wasn't it, Bridget?
No, it was good laugh. Trip, it was funny. Yeah.
Good team spirit. Love that. Well, look, Gabby, mate, thank you so much for coming
on.
Thank you, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. We love it. Obviously, the stuff you do on the radio and on TV.
Keep battering people.
Really good. It's good because you're not sitting on the fence, as you say. You're direct. You back it up with what you say.
I like that.
And yeah, it's a really good listen.
Thanks,
mate.
guys.
So thank you so much for
Appreciate
coming on. Remember to find us on the Joe YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcast from. You have been watching All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet. We'll see you soon.
You've been watching All to Play For, brought to you by Joe and Virgin Bet.